is the Bronco. Now, have a look on the screens. Have a look on the screen. Its lineage includes the Warthog variant. This was used by the British Army in Afghanistan. Fire support with 68mm rocket launcher or 12.7mm machine gun, 120mm mortar towing, trailer towing. Now this very manoeuvrable vehicle is already in service in the French Land Forces with the 11th Parachute Brigade and the Special Forces. Its mission, as we can see, is to go where conventional 4x4s can't. Sand, mud, rock. The rider was qualified on all of these terrains. Now, as you can see, as the vehicle is on the hill, it's a smallish vehicle. It's compact enough to be airdropped from the A400M or C-130 and sling-loaded under a helicopter. The rider is deliberately rugged. No electronic devices, no failure that cannot be repaired, close to the field. Now, that's a very impressive display of the vehicle's maneuverability. It's a purpose-built military platform developed by Incas on KNDS Mobility's Celeris platform. Okay, no problem at all for the M1 from Incas. Let's have a look at its engine. Now the Incas M1 is equipped with a powerful 375 horsepower, 9-litre engine. We're going to see a very impressive display of its manoeuvrability. There's a bit of dust. Well, keep your eyes on the vehicle. Now that is rather impressive. So as I was saying, its second brother, the M1 number 2, was unveiled a few days ago at the Kansec show in Canada with the new generation T750 axles. Now they've got independent suspensions from KNDS Mobility. It seems as if some assailants are coming on and are preparing an attack of some sort. Thanks to its mission equipment and its superior mobility, the M1 uses the terrain at its full advantage to outplay the enemy. Ladies and gentlemen, the M1 has come under enemy fire. Thanks to its inertial navigation system, the crew retains a full positioning system and navigation capability. The M1 sends a report to base and a request to investigate the area. Ladies and gentlemen, help is on the way from Rheinmetall. Now, after the attack on the Incas M1, the command post has sent a request to Rheinmetall to carry out a reconnaissance mission. Today, ladies and gentlemen, Battlefield rewards speed, information, dominance, and decisive action. And in high-intensity combat, those who act fastest and most accurately set the tempo and control the fight. Battlefield superiority is now modern and digital. In today's scenario, before you on the terrain, Rheinmetall's Wolfpack concept involved 2 unmanned ground vehicles working in coordinated formation under a single operator, enhancing efficiency and mission effectiveness. The system's modular design acts as a force multiplier, improving maneuverability and control. It can be operated locally via a wireless tablet or remotely from anywhere using radio or satellite communication. Now, Rheinmetall's Wolfpack coordination is powered by the PATH system. It uses real-time perception to plan routes and avoid obstacles, enabling reliable mission execution. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's have a look at the 2 vehicles themselves. On the right-hand side is the SP2. Now, it's ultra stealthy. fully electric and amphibious, configured here in surveillance mode. In direct support is the Mission Master CX-T2. 2 on the left-hand side provides low altitude air denial and direct protection of its counterpart. Leading the formation, as we can see on the right-hand side, the Mission Master SP2 advances along the infiltration line axis, enabling reconnaissance, early threat detection and reduced troop exposure. In direct support, the Mission Master CX-2. Ladies and gentlemen, the SP2 has come under fire as it was reaching the village. The target coordinates are instantly shared across the Wolfpack and the CX-T2 acquires the track. And as the SP2 pulls up in front of us, it's going to power up its Echodyne radar. Now the Echodyne radar is equipped with an FLIR thermal camera. There it goes, for reliable identification day and night. Now concealed and operational, the SP2 continuously monitors the airspace. Now the SP2's module has detected on the screens, unfortunately there's the smoke, but it has detected a drone swarm approaching the secured sector. Its advanced algorithms classify the threat and transmit targeting data in real time, emitting detectable signals. The CX-T2 repositions to an optimal firing point, deploys its mast with its own Echodyne radar, locking the swarm. The swarm is now locked. M134D engages, saturating the airspace and neutralizing the threat with decisive efficiency from the first burst. As we've seen, the operator assigns an extraction route. Instantly, the SP2 and CX-T2 move in convoy mode. Ladies and gentlemen, you've just witnessed a live demonstration of the power of Rheinmetall's digital ecosystem on a reconnaissance mission backed up by the foot soldiers from the SER and of course the VBCI vehicle behind. Now the Parrot drone flying above the village is constantly supplying reconnaissance information. And have a look on the terrain. The Probot mule robot has been sent out. Now, thanks to its 750 kilogram payload capacity, it provides logistical support to the combatants in the fields. Now, we'll have to see what the next response is. Yes, it's coming on the screen, ladies and gentlemen. The Tundra drone has been sent out and it's equipped in bombing mode and is shortly going to carry out its mission. It's come under enemy fire and the Tundra drone has succeeded in bombing its target across in front of us, and it's setting off in pursuit of a getaway vehicle which is making its way up the slope. And strikes it. Now the assault can take place, ladies and gentlemen. And it looks like the soldiers are putting the injured civilian into the hut for their own protection. Okay, so part of the mission has now been completed by the soldiers making their way back into the VBCI. Conditions encountered in action: highly maneuverable, it offers precise handling in confined environments and can clear any obstacles out of the way. Now, just a few words about the Ruckus. It's battle-proven and has been deployed in Ukraine since 2023. Ladies and gentlemen, we are now entering the phase of investigating and dealing with the threat, as the operator can function under armoured protection up to 2,000 metres away from the identified threat. Now, the operator uses the available equipment to confirm the presence of an IED and neutralise it. It's got an inspection camera and also an air gun with a pressure of up to 10 bar. There goes the air hose, the air gun. And also, I don't know whether you can see the rake or hoe tool for grasping, digging and cutting. Now, as you can imagine, ladies and gentlemen, this is an extremely delicate operation. The system therefore ensures the precise and controlled handling essential for this type of operation. So the Ruckus has succeeded in picking up the IED and will now move away from the area. And if you just have a look at the screens, ladies and gentlemen, the Ruckus enables forces to respond more quickly. But as you can see, the Ruckus can be deployed to tow a trailer in order to decontaminate the battlefield. Now, this was done by the Ukrainians. 3,000 and 4,000 litres of water, along with a 60-litre tank of wetting agents. Ladies and gentlemen, simultaneously the BEA 33 aerial platform by Carnegie. Now, mounted on a 19-ton GVWR chassis, this aerial giant positions itself with precision alongside the CCF. And now the two units are going to combine their strengths. So straight away we can see the stabilization process beginning instantly. As you can see, the H-type outriggers are extending outward into a full span of 6 meters. And as you can see, the automatic leveling system engages, securing perfect stability. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know whether you, just to bring you back to the scenario, we still have an injured civilian inside the hut, and a request for help has been sent to the headquarters. The injured civilian is now being escorted by the soldiers and is now going to be put back inside, in safety inside the ambulance. So that's been brought under control. Ladies and gentlemen, turn your attention back to the BEA 33. It's now lifting up its boom. Have a look at the turret on the screen. Now, the turret can rotate through 360 degrees entirely within the vehicle's footprint, a decisive advantage in confined environments. Engineered for extreme conditions, the structure remains fully operational in wind speeds of up to 45 kilometers. Now, the boom can reach a maximum working height of 33 meters. And in a few seconds' time, we're going to see a demonstration of its horizontal extension. There it goes. Now, it can extend up to 23 meters horizontally, and uniquely achieving a negative reach of -8 meters, allowing operations below ground level in ravines, quays, or beneath structures. At full extension, the platform is operational. It can support up to 500 kilograms. Ladies and gentlemen, the water supply is initiated. The CCF activates its high-performance pump. First up was the Rider from UNAC. followed on the left-hand side by the Ruckus robot from CNIM Système Industriel. And behind them are the two vehicles from Rheinmetall, the smaller vehicle, the SP2, followed hotly behind by the slightly larger vehicle, the CX-T2. And then again, coming on from the right-hand side is the Incas M1. And behind them you've still got the two vehicles from Armoric Holdings, the CCFM from CIDES and the BEA-33 from Carnegie. And in front of us we've got the personnel and equipment and vehicles from the SCR with their Tundra drone in front of them. And also the Taurus from Bronco is on the left-hand side. And the Centurion D14. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I think a big round of applause is in order.
Voilà, je te l'ai remis. Ah oui, parce que je peux savoir. Parce qu'on fait des stages aussi, oui.